Yes, we're starting.
This is a test. Welcome to the test. I'm doing work here. Measuring cup. Oven. Test. This is a test. Okay.
Great.
Stop.
We're doing great, lads.
Did we start?
Yes, we started.
Okay. Hi, I'm bad at being on video, so I'm just gonna start. This is for my friends, obviously, because you're watching it and nobody else will. If you got here on YouTube, I'm sorry. Macarons. If you actually want to follow this recipe, this is Tasty's recipe for macarons, but with less regard for French cuisine and less care. So if you want to do the real one, tasty.com macarons. They're pretty good. It's a pretty standard basic recipe. I'm editing it to make not a basic one. And I'm also not doing it as carefully with like sifting and stuff, because while that does create like a better, like pristine looking macaron, like somebody drew it and it's in a French bakery, it doesn't actually matter that much to the taste and texture. So I'm not doing it because I also don't have like a Cuisinart that would work for that. And I don't want to accidentally make almond butter because I already did that by mistake.
It's a process.
So when you're doing macarons, the most important thing is egg whites. There's no like leavening agent like baking powder or baking soda to make it rise. And the whole point of the macaron is that it rises and gets its little legs, which is the like foamy looking part underneath the top of the cap.
The feets.
The feets. Well, if they haven't made them and they're not that interested, they might not know. That's called a foot. It's the foot of the macaron. I'm also a ceramics person, so foot means other things too regarding the bottom of a cup. I'm gonna do one that's chocolate cookie and peanut butter filling, and then the other one is vanilla cookie with like rainbow sprinkles in it to see what happens when you put rainbow sprinkles in this, and pineapple filling because I have pineapple flavoring. Thank you, Steve. Things that are important about egg whites when you're whipping them. They create their own, I think, protein structure, which is how they whip. So these are eggs. You don't want to use super fresh eggs, and you want them to kind of be room temperature because they get into like the stiff egg white temperature volume better. So the other thing is that your mixing bowl should be like super dry and free of oil, because as soon as you add fat and other water, they don't like whip to full. I don't know why. They're just real picky. So there's a couple ways you can do this part as if you're going to follow this recipe. One is to do the back and forth method, which is, I guess, the most normal way to do it. So you can, I forgot to get a bowl for this too. You can save the yolk, obviously. It's still a good yolk. Maddie Matheson has a really good chocolate lava cake recipe that uses a lot of egg yolks, or custard, or you can put them in your scrambled eggs. It doesn't really matter. Other methods involve the goblin hand method, which involves just doing that and then getting that to fall out. If you get any yolk in the white, you have to throw the white out because it's not good anymore. It won't whip if there's any yolk in it because the yolk contains fat, and as I already mentioned, fat prevents it from doing the thing. So as long as you didn't break any yolk in there, it's fine. So that's egg white. I'm so sorry. Oh, okay. My mom just came home from the store, so there was a pause. Egg whites got put in this bowl. This cup contains 1/4 of a cup of granulated sugar, and then because I don't want the egg whites to deflate, I try to have my dry ingredients ready already. You can go through the other way.
Are you kidding me? It was right there. Okay, bye.
Bye. Dry ingredients in a bowl so that they can be mixed in, because once the egg whites are like fluffed, you have a time limit before they defluff. So in this bowl there is now 1 cup of almond flour, as finely ground as you can get it. If you have like something that grinds spices or something, you can get it like powder. That works even better. I haven't done that. And then 1 3/4 cup of powdered sugar. are in this bowl. So this is going to be the chocolate cookie batch. So I have cocoa powder, baking powder, cocoa baking. I want it to be chocolatey, so I'm going to add an amount of this. Do not mistake this spoon for measuring. If you want to follow this recipe, measure with your heart or follow a real recipe. The problem with baking chocolate powder is that it's not sweet at all, but macarons are like mostly sugar, so it's fine. The only other risk is that you're gonna throw off the balance of dry to wet, so.
Gonna throw off the vibe.
Throw off the vibe. I think I feel good about that. So however much that was, maybe 1/4 of a cup. That seems like a lot, but I want to taste it. And then I always add just like the tiniest bit of salt. The cool thing about macarons is that they are gluten-free because it is almond flour. Obviously, almonds don't have, wheat grain in them, so it is automatically gluten-free. That does not mean they're healthy. This is mostly sugar and more sugar. Beating egg whites. I hope this isn't too loud. You should start it on high immediately. There's no need to build up to it. There's no powder in there that's gonna go, so it's fine. And then once this gets to like semi-whipped, I'm gonna start streaming in the sugar, and you have to do it really slowly. I'm speaking now because I don't know if it'll be too loud. You have to stream it really, really slowly, otherwise it'll deflate the eggs. So let them rip. Beyblade. Are we rolling?
Yes.
Okay. So I've whipped the egg whites. This is a pretty stiff peak. I'm not totally sure this is exactly stiff enough, so I'm gonna do the test of fools. Yeah, so we're good. If it had fell on my head, it would have not been good for a variety of reasons. So that's stiff enough. I don't know if you could tell from, I'm told there was a time lapse, but I also added just a little bit of vanilla. I decided to do that. Even though it's chocolate flavored, it's like a base coat. It's like a primer. So now I'm gonna add the dry to the wet. This is kind of all of the ingredients. It's not a lot of ingredients. So I'm gonna do a little at a time, relatively, because I don't want it to deflate too much. And then this is where you fold it in. So instead of like stirring, you've got to kind of like gently cradle the baby maneuver. You don't want it to like super deflate. We're rolling?
Yes, we're wrong. Yes.
Well, you have to signal, so
I
I'm
put
gonna
a
add the other
thumbs
half.
up.
That's not a lot of a signal. You'll kind of inhale like a big cloud of powdered sugar at this point. That's not good for you.
Part of the process.
Part of the ship, part of the crew. So now it's kind of formed something kind of weird looking. It's a lot lumpier than the tasty recipe appears. That's because I don't have hyper fine anything, frankly. The almond flour could have been finer. It's not gonna taste different. The texture will be a negligible difference. Next batter, I might sift the powdered sugar a little more, but so the recipe, and I remember it, says you want to stir it 50 times, like you're supposed to count. I'm not that bad at numbers, but I am bad at remembering that. So the other way you can tell if it's ready is if you can make a figure 8 with the dough batter. So if you can like drizzle it and form a figure 8 like I'm basically doing, that's mixed enough. That's mixed. So ahead of time, I put the piping bag, because you pipe these, as if anybody has seen a macaron, you would know that. I put a piping bag in a cup preset because it wants to deflate, and I don't want it to deflate, and I don't want to give it any spare time to be doing sad things like deflate. So I'm gonna just like spoon this in there. This is where it gets messy, and I like having this little extra so that you can actually like pick it up.
Oh, Mary.
So it's full to here. This is good.
Oh.
That part wasn't. This is fine. This is fine. It's supposed to be like this.
It's going down.
Get your fingers involved.
It's going all the way down the side.
It's fine. We're good. It's fine. Just get your whole human hands involved. Now you don't want that on the side. I'm gonna wash them. It's fine. It's good. It's good.
It's escaping, Mary.
It's good.
It's escaping the container.
It's good. It's good. We're good.
Oh.
It's good. Feels good. Feels great. Feels organic. There you go. See? So that's not quite enough to really grab it, but I also like it has to fit, you know. So baking tray. You can use parchment paper or a silpat. There's apparently discourse about which is better. I haven't really noticed too much of a difference, except that I think silpats are a little easier to peel it off of. But you know, I have parchment paper today, so I cut just a little tip at the end. If you cut it too big, you'll be sad. It's easier to make more pour. It's harder to, you know, undo. And then you make circles. We've entered the circle zone. So macarons, when they spread, they only really go up. I recognize that the recipe says like half an inch or an inch apart. I don't remember, but what are you, a narc? I was informed to tell you guys if it's the texture I like or not. Yeah, it's good. So just try to get them all close to the same size, because if they're like really different, they are a sandwich cookie, so that'll look dumb if one's half is huge and the other isn't. And then you'll get like frosting off the side, and then you'll be sad, and then the world will be burning, and you'll just be holding a mismatched cookie with dirty hands like my hands are currently dirty. You will get your hands dirty, unless you're somebody who is like elegant. But I know all of you, and none of you are, except Annie. You're very elegant, Anne.
Me? Yes.
No, not you. Janecki.
Okay.
Annie Janecki. You're very elegant. Sorry, Anne Rund. You're not elegant.
Everything
I'm
is
digging
so
myself
confusing.
a hole. I'm digging myself a hole. Well, nobody else is gonna watch this. We're gonna jump cut.
Okay. Jump cut.
Okay. I washed my hands. That was what the jump cut was for.
Okay.
So this is gonna be unfortunately loud. So you wanna kind of knock the air bubbles out. Not the air out, but the air bubbles. So this is what they look like. Some of them are different sizes. Like I said, not to do, but they'll match, you know, eventually. So you gotta tap it. So that homogenizes the cookie. I like to do 10 on each side. So it kind of flattens it out. As you saw, you can kind of see the difference. I'm gonna tap the other one now, hold on. So the next part of these cookies' life cycle, they're kind of in the chrysalis stage. So here's the part where it being humid outside is bad. They have to form a skin on the top. So they have to sit for 30 minutes and wait for the top to dry out. You'll know it's dry when you can like run your finger over it and it doesn't like get sticky. If I did that now, it would definitely be stick. So form a skin, 30 minutes.